Hi guys, just letting you in. It's a bit of a funny time, 5 o'clock, I know. So we've got a lot of people that are going to come on and watch the recording afterwards. My goal is to keep this quite short. I don't think people have time anymore to do blooming 90-minute webinars with a sales pitch at the end. So I want to keep this to a nice, tight 20-minute teach. And I'm hoping that you guys will come away with some strategies that you can use that will be helpful to you to get you moving and losing some weight and feeling healthier for the summer. And then at the end, I'm going to open it up for a question and answer. So we will just see how we go. You can't hear anything. Danny, can you hear okay? It may be, yes?
Yes.
Yeah,
hi. I can hear.
Thanks, Danny. It must be your settings. So you are gonna need to, depending on whether you're on, oh, she can't hear me anyway. So I'm gonna put it in the chat, aren't I? Oh, she's okay now. Awesome. Good. Blooming technology, hey. I had to learn all of this in COVID as a 60-year-old. It was a nightmare. I can tell you, it's absolutely awful. Anyway, here we are. You're here because you're busy women who want to lose weight and improve your health and feel great for summer. It's my job. It's what I do to coach you guys. My client, Andrea, she's a corporate, works for the bank, corporate with kids. A year ago, she was very, very overweight and unhappy. And she actually came to me about 7 months ago, terrified. She had just come from the doctor. Her blood pressure was the highest that I've seen. It was 190 over 125. I'm surprised she was still standing. And it was caused by stress and cortisol and her lifestyle, and obviously the extra weight that she was carrying. Now, 7 months later, she's on no medication. Her blood pressure is back down to normal, and she's lost 15 kilos. So, and that was with no crazy dieting or deprivation, no extreme exercise. You hardly have time to exercise, just gently moving towards a more natural, whole food way of eating, which obviously with her blood pressure getting away from the sodium was really, really important. With this work I do, so all the time, it's not just about the weight, right? It's about lowering cholesterol levels for many women. It's about reversing type 2 diabetes, getting your HbA1c down, hypertension, inflammation, all of those things. And the 3 lessons that I think I've learned that I can help you with to do the same. The 3 main obstacles I think that stop us as busy women is not knowing what to eat when. And that just leads to confusion and what I call diet hopping. You try Weight Watchers, that doesn't work. You try Noom, that doesn't work. Then you go keto and you feel like shit, or maybe it works for a little while and then you put all the weight back on again. Then you try paleo, then you're high protein, low protein, high carb, no carb, and you just don't know where to go next. And when you couple that with changing hormone levels, it's just dynamite. And I know I went through it too, and you feel like you're banging your head, honestly, against a brick wall. So I think that is one of the biggest things, is that food confusion, because there is just so much conflicting information floating around on the internet, in social media, on YouTube and everywhere else. The other thing is, I think that we're time poor. So we end up eating on the run with no plan, grabbing what's available, not eating during the day, and then overeating mid-afternoon on the way home or at nighttime with, no plan. I think the third thing is that just life happens, and it's having to wing it at social occasions, restaurants, office shouts, kids' parties, grown-up parties, especially this time of year where it just feels like there's something on every weekend. So if you can identify that, just pop in the chat what's impacting you the most. Does any of that strike a chord with you. What we want instead is a clear plan of what to eat so that we don't have that confusion and that diet hopping. So what I'd like to do is just bear with me with technology, is screen share with you for a minute and just take you into, not there. We want to be here. And we want to get rid of this. Sorry, I have a deaf lady on the program, so I have to have the transcript all there. So this is basically what I have found works really, really well, specifically for women, because we're not small men. Our hormone levels are completely different. How our body reacts to different food plans is completely different. This is what I've found works for women, particularly women over 40. So first thing is you need to be drinking at least 2 to 3 liters of water a day, right? So you need to, if you're not a good water drinker, you need to turn yourself into one. Every process from your saliva right the way through the digestive tract that turns your food into energy requires water. So if you are a little bit dehydrated, it slows all of those metabolic processes down. It also tends to make you crave sweet stuff or salty stuff. One of the first signs of being dehydrated is fatigue. So it also exacerbates that afternoon dip where you feel like you need something sweet to get you through. Very often it's not. It's because you're dehydrated. Drinking enough water, this is what a kilo of body fat looks like. And drinking enough water is worth half a kilo of fat in a month. So that is 6 of these. This is the visceral fat that wraps itself around your heart and your lungs and your internal organs. You can lose the equivalent of 6 of these in a year if you are currently dehydrated and you start to drink enough water. So drinking the water is really, really important. The next thing is not to try and do no carbohydrates. Women need carbohydrates. So men go great with long fasts. They go great on keto, because what tends to happen in a man's physiology in that state is they hang on to muscle tissue and burn fat. And who designs most of the food plans that we see on the internet? Mainly men, unfortunately. And most of the studies that have been done are done on college students that are men that get paid to do these diet things, right? So women aren't small men. When we deprive ourselves of carbohydrates or we fast for too long, it may look great on the scales to start with, but what our bodies do is eat into muscle tissue and hold on to body fat. So our bodies actually tend to do the reverse. So having said that, as we age, we get a little bit insulin resistant, and as our estrogen levels drop, we don't process carbohydrates as well as we used to when we were younger. So you want to eat those carbohydrates in the first 2 meals of the day. So for me, hi Carolyn, for me that means rolled oats for breakfast or sourdough bread in the weekend for breakfast, and it means kumara or rice or a couple of wraps or quinoa or reheated potato or yams for my lunch. So I want those carbohydrates in the first 2 meals of the day, but I don't want the carbohydrates at night, because we know that at night, our pancreas doesn't work so well and we become more insulin resistant. So we're not very good at burning off those carbohydrates at night as women who are perimenopausal, menopausal, or out the other side. So you want to front load your day so that you've got energy to fuel your brain and keep you going through the day, but your evening meal wants to look more like protein and veggies or protein and salad. So it's that old thing, I guess, which has gone out of fashion because of intermittent fasting. It's that old thing of eating breakfast like a king, lunch like a knave, and dinner like a pauper, right? But we've stopped doing that because it's become either we're too busy to eat, or it's become fashionable to actually fast until lunchtime. And that way round is not great for women. Works better for men, but it's not great for women. The other thing you want to be doing is eating a couple of serves, 2 to 3 serves of fruit a day. And a serve of fruit is about a tennis ball size, apple or orange, or it might be 2 smaller fruits like kiwi fruit or apricots. Strawberries, by the way, which are in season at the moment, are free. You can eat them till they come out of your ears. Like a cup of strawberries, if I had a measuring cup of strawberries piled high so they were falling off the top, it wouldn't even be 47 calories, right? It's nothing. A bar of chocolate is 550 calories. So I don't need you to count calories, but I want you to be aware of the energy levels of what you're eating. So strawberries are free. They're water, fiber, and antioxidants, vitamin C, basically. So enjoy them. Unless you have an adverse reaction to them, enjoy them. You then want to be getting in 4 handfuls of fibrous veggies a day. All right. Now, if you haven't been eating a lot of vegetables, don't start with 4 because you'll be farting and burping because your gut won't be used to it. But you want to gradually build up to 4 of your handfuls of fibrous veggies a day. And you want to get a good handful of coleslaw or salad into your lunch so that you've only got to do 3 at night. Otherwise, you're gonna be very overfull at night. Those fibrous veggies, they're so cancer protective. They're protecting your bowel against bowel cancer. They're increasing your metabolism because they're hard for your body to break down the cellulose of the cells. They do a great job of feeding the good bacteria in your microbiome. So those are the reasons why, and they're great for filling you up for not a lot of calories, you know, like a whole head of broccoli, like this one, which is huge, it's like 34 calories. It's giving you the same amount of calcium as 100 mils of milk, and it's protecting you from upper respiratory tract cancers, and it's breaking down into short chain fatty acids to protect your bowel as well. So it's doing all of those wonderful things. So we need to embrace and eat more of this stuff. You want to be, we've said that we want the carbs in those first 2 meals of the day. So we're going to have 2 servings of whole grains or starchy veggies each day. But then your dinner, so your dinner plate really looks like 1/4 of your plate is protein and 3/4 of the plate is veggies. That's kind of where you want to go. If this all sounds, if you're not sure about proteins and carbs and veggies, just book a call with me. I know you have, Danny. Just book a call with me after this. I'm really happy to give you a 15-minute call just to come up with a little bit more of a food plan for you that is specific to you. So I'll actually, when I stop screen sharing, I'll put the link in the chat, and you can have a look. So that dinner, 1/4 of a plate of protein, 3/4 of fibrous veggies. That is the biggest change you can make that will help you burn fat. We burn more fat overnight than we do during the day, even than we do at the gym, right? And we want to utilize that. We don't want to be full of carbs when we go to bed, full of carbs that we're not going to burn off, full of carbs that are keeping our bloodstream into the digestive tract instead of out into the tissue beds and in our brain, mending things and making new hair, skin, nails, teeth, tears, all of that stuff we want it to be doing. And Outlook, what we do, because some people struggle with that to start with, is that we, when I was saying to you, like a measuring cup of rice is about 400 calories. A measuring cup of something like cauliflower rice is 20 calories, right? It's a no-brainer. A cup of any of those fibrous vegetables all chopped up is 25 calories, and you're probably only going to get about 10 of them because a lot of it is resistant fiber. So it's a little bit of a no-brainer. We also use things like I'm a big fan of things like the edamame pastas and noodles. They're brilliant. So they're really high in fiber, and they're really high in protein, and they're really low in carbohydrate. So you can cut back on the amount of protein. You can have these with a tomato-based sauce and not really even have to worry about protein. Quarter of a packet of this has got the same amount of protein as a chicken breast. So they're great. They're really, really good. And then for fats, we need healthy fats as well. We just got to be careful with how much. So it's moderation. But avocado, like I live in the Bay of Plenty, so my healthy fats come from half an avocado every day. One would be too much, but half is brilliant. Nuts and seeds and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I use linseeds for the lignans, which are very cancer protective. I have a Brazil nut every day for the selenium, because our soils are very low in New Zealand. I have chia seeds every day, which are good for the omega-3s. So it's easy to get enough good fats just within those 3 meals. So I can probably, yeah, I think I've done that. So I can probably come out of there now. Is this all kind of making sense? If you have any questions, do pop them in the chat. That's absolutely fine. And let's back up into here. Okay. So the second thing that happens is that we're time poor, and we don't tend to make time for ourselves. You know, like I think oh, sorry, I muted myself. I think I said in a post the other day that, you know, we're so often as women, we're at the bottom of the heap. So what you need to do is you need to take time to plan ahead. What I do is I plan my week ahead on this. I plan my dinners first. I look at where I'm going to be, what nights I'm going to be out, what night I'm doing other stuff. And I plan my dinners. I plan my proteins first and then my veggies. At the moment, most of my veggies are coming out of the garden, which is brilliant. I've actually even managed to grow asparagus this year. So yeah, it's amazing. Loving it. And then the days I'm going to be home, I usually plan to have leftovers for lunch. So I'll keep some of the protein and maybe some of the veggies, and then I'll have them on a baked kumara or with some rice or quinoa that I've pre-cooked at my lunchtime. Breakfasts are pretty much normally the same. I have oats during the week and then the weekend sourdough. And so I've got that plan in place. I then shop for that plan. I'm not a great food prepper, right? I would spend maybe an hour of chopping things up and getting them ready to go. I might throw something in the crock pot, but pretty much otherwise, I'm making stuff as I'm going along, and I'm freezing stuff from each batch I cook. I freeze stuff and I can pull that out the following week. That's my savior. Then I'm never having to go to the cafe or go to the supermarket or go to the BP to grab something. I've always got something that is quick and easy at home. So this goes on the fridge. The other bonus of that is if I'm working late, somebody else knows what we're eating and they can pull it out of the fridge. So that's another bonus. Then daily at Outlook, we use a tracker like this. So we are daily planning ahead each meal, because by the time you get to Wednesday, what you planned on there ain't happening anymore, right? Things have changed. You're going out for lunch, or you've had to work late and you didn't get dinner, or whatever. So then we're planning daily. I know there's great apps out there, but all the research says you're far better to actually write it down. There's a brain, pen, paper connection that makes it, you're far more likely to do it if you write it than if you type it. I have recently had a client, she's done all of this, it's all typed out beautifully, and she sends it to me in a Google Doc every week, but she never does it. But if it takes me about 30 seconds in the morning to do this. I have one client, she's still got toddlers. She does it in the loo every morning because she's always got toddlers sitting on her lap or around her feet, right? It's the only chance she gets. When the door is locked and she's got peace and quiet on the loo, she plans her food for the day. The reason it is so effective is that you want the version of you that wants to make great healthy food choices and nourish her body You want her making your food decisions. You don't want the hangry version of you at 4:30, 5 o'clock making the decision what to eat. So if my day goes wrong and I've planned to have some nuts and a piece of fruit at 4 p.m., I'm far more likely to have a handful of nuts and a piece of fruit than jump into the BP and grab a vegan cookie, right? Because I've made it and I've done it within 24 hours. Then at the end of the day, I assess what happened. So often there's lots of stuff scribbled out. This particular day obviously went quite well, but you can see I've highlighted here, I had a couple of extra handfuls of almonds that I hadn't planned. So it's not judgment, it's just data. So I've got that here, and at the end of the week, I can assess it. And at the end of the week, I can go, you know what? I felt really bloated and lethargic this week. What was that about? Is there anything in what I ate this week that I can tweak that will give me more energy and have me feeling lighter for next week? It may be that the scales have gone up or the scales have gone down or the scales have stayed the same and they're not doing what I want them to do. And I can just look back and go, well, this is the data from the week. What do I need to tweak to change that? It's very, very powerful. And I have all of my guys doing this. And I know when they stop, and they often stop because they go, I'm eating the same thing all the time. I don't need to do that anymore. I just swap, the veggies and the proteins and the sauces around a little bit, but it's the same. I don't need to do that anymore. And in my head, I'm counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because it's all going to go wrong. So it's not obsessive. It's just caring enough about your body to plan ahead of time what you're going to put into it so that it runs smoothly. I think the other thing, so we've talked about what to eat when, we talked about planning ahead of time, and then the last thing is getting sabotaged at office shouts, birthday parties, restaurants, and that kind of thing. This time of year, you're getting lots of going out for drinks and hopefully outdoor parties. So I did share this on social media, but I'll just bear with me. I'll see if I can share this again. So this is my, let's just go along a little bit. This is my world famous platter. So every Friday, I love my Friday drinks. When we go out and we go to friends' places for dinner or we go to friends' places for drinks, I go armed with this. The funny thing is, everybody loves it, including the kids. It gets eaten first. So this is a homemade hummus, which takes 5 minutes. I make homemade hummus just about every day with beans and chickpeas and different sauces. I quite often put some edamame beans in there just to nudge the protein up a little bit. It's my real go-to. So this is just chopped up veggies with a homemade hummus. I do poppadoms. So this is an example. The pataks, Midas do them, Sharwoods do them. I microwave them, so I don't need to use any oil. They are literally 0.5% of fat. So if you were having Bluebird chippies, every chippy is 34% fat, right? So over 1/3 of every chippy you put in your mouth, apart from the salt and the kind of oil, 34% of each of those chippies is just fat. These are lentil flour or chickpea flour and water. There's a little bit of salt in there. They're crispy. They do the job. They dip great into the hummus, and they are 0.5% of fat. So again, it's like the cauliflower for the cauliflower rice. It's just such an easy swap. So I do those. And then if it's a sweet one, we got, this was a fruit platter that I did. And that was dark chocolate. So that was probably anything over 72% is good. But I tend to go for the higher, like I've worked my way up. I'm on like the 1995. So a little bit of dark chocolate. Remember, strawberries are free. So you could cover some strawberries in dark chocolate. They always go down really well. And you can eat strawberries till they come out of your ears. And then the yogurt, that was actually a plant-based one. I think it was a collective plant-based one. Yeah, it was that one. And so those just go down a storm. So I always have the makings of those platters in the house so I can throw them together if people turn up. I was talking to a client actually in yesterday's meeting who used to have, you know, baking and biscuits and stuff in the house for when people turned up, but who ends up eating them, you know? And we were talking about it, and she's saying she doesn't do that anymore. And I said, isn't it great? Because you're caring for your guests' health. You know, you're not driving their cholesterol and their HbA1c up. You're looking after them by offering them a healthy platter. Anyway, I digress. What else? Restaurants, like if we're going out a lot, I'll choose my favorite restaurant and I'll go, that is my meal off. I'm going to have what I want and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. And it might be pasta, and it will be with a couple of glasses of wine, and it might be with half a dessert or a dessert. But if we're going out 3 or 4 times a week, I'll do that once, and the other 2 or 3 times, choose to be the designated driver and choose the most healthy option for you that there is. So that might be the salad. It doesn't mean you have to live on chicken and broccoli to do this, right? You don't have to live on chicken and broccoli and salad and chicken and broccoli and salad, but just choose wisely. And if there isn't a wise choice, portion control it. No, don't eat until you're stuffed. That's another of the things that I teach people is eat when you're hungry and stop when you're about 80% full. That's what the Okinawarans, who are, they've got the most women over 100 in the world. And they have a saying, kara hachibu, which means eat to here, basically. So eat to 80% full and move away. So people lose weight eating pizza and cake and crap all the time, but they just don't eat too much of it, right? They portion control it. So that is the other thing, is to portion control. Try and be ready for your office shouts and your birthdays and stuff like that. Take your strawberries this time of year, take a healthy platter with you, take a good option for you that you can share. And people will always try and sabotage you. And with a birthday or whatever, just have a sliver of a cake. I think the lesson with that is to be able to have a sliver, enjoy it, say, I'm really glad I had that cake for her birthday. That tasted delicious, and walk away. Rather than the diet mentality, which says you have a sliver of cake, you then go, well, I've ruined it now, so I might as well ... and you inhale everything in sight and feel like crap the next day, and then you have blown it. So it's learning. A lot of this is not about what you eat when, although I've just said it is. It's about learning to manage your mind around food and taking some of the emotion out of it, taking that emotional chatter away, going, you know what, it's just food and I can enjoy it, but I'm making good decisions for my body. Like most of us look after our car better than we look after our body. So it's looking after it. It's not just all about weight loss. Weight loss is a lovely side effect from eating well and eating healthily, I believe. Anyway, if you would like to book a call, let's see if I can do this. If we go into the chat, which should be down the bottom, I know, Danny, you already have. I will just paste the booking in there. And if you click on there, that will take you into my diary. And I think I've got it just for a 15-minute call. There's 2 or 3 sessions tomorrow, and I think some on Saturday. And it's there to see if I can help you, to see if you would like to work with me. If you don't, then at least I've set you up with something that you can carry on on your own. So my mission is to help as many people as possible, particularly women, particularly busy women, to live healthy, long, happy lives doing shit that they love until they're in their 90s. That's my goal. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you so much for being here. if you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. Otherwise, I've done very well. We've done it in half an hour, not the hour and a half that it used to take. So that's really good. I'm going to do a few more of these, and I'm going to just do them on specific subjects as we lead through November and into December. Thank you so much for being here. Look forward to speaking to you all soon. Bye now. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Danny. Bye, Carolyn.